Just Monday night, a 60-year-old woman was hit and killed while she was walking on Winchester Road. Deadly crashes involving pedestrians and cyclists are on the rise across the state, according to the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration. And now the governor's office is giving $13.8 million to 14 different cities and counties to make pedestrian safety improvements.
Tried to make those connections, but didn't always think about who we're connecting for. And now the motto is we try to connect the 8 to 80. So your 8-year-olds and your 80-year-olds would be comfortable using these facilities and would be safe in doing so.
Lexington received $800,000 to use towards the Armstrong Mill Shared Use Path project. Director of Engineering Doug Burton says the goal is to close all of the gaps in the bike and pedestrian path in areas from Armstrong Mill to Squires Hill Lane, keeping people out of the road and away from cars.
This corridor and more, every corridor throughout Lexington is becoming more used by bikes and peds, and our goal is to make sure that they can do that safely.
Because for those who regularly use the walking, bike paths, and parks around Lexington, safety is always top of mind.
It's scary. Don't want to get hit.
And with this funding, Burton says they can start designing safer paths very soon. In Lexington, Grayson Passmore, WKYT.